Greetings, folks. Welcome back to another review. David here, and today I want to be talking about the 2024 film Am I Racist? I really should have gotten this queued up in IMDb first. Let me go ahead and Google it. Am I Racist? Not I am racist, the way so many people want to say the title, mistakenly, of course. I saw this today and just want to give my quick thoughts about it. I almost don't want to be doing this review. It's, you know what, I'm not even going to call it a review. I'm just going to call it a my thoughts, my first impressions. That's the way I usually do with these reviews. I wasn't going to watch this movie because it just doesn't have that big of an appeal to me. But my aunt Marianne, she wanted to support the film, and she likes she loves supporting anything like this. I don't know if she saw What Is a Woman. Still haven't seen that, but as far as like a Daily Wire conservative movie, if it's something that's been promoted or pushed by some of these certain outlets, like go support this movie. It's not woke. It's good. Uh, Whether it's quote unquote conservative or supposed to have some kind of a Americana message, Christian message, whichever way, you understand what I'm saying. She's trying to get out and support these films more than ever, and she's almost 80, so it really says something about her that she wants to do this. And I couldn't help but just think about that and think, I want to help support her in this, even if maybe it's not my kind of movie. For instance, The Forge. I wouldn't have seen that film if not to take an opportunity to spend a little bit of time with her, because I think I've mentioned before, I'm an over the road truck driver, and so I rarely get a chance to spend time with family, even though she lives right next door to me. Sometimes 3 weeks might go by and I didn't see Aunt Marianne. So I'm trying to really jump on these opportunities to just spend a couple hours with her and make a little memory, and maybe get a kick out of the film if it turns out to be good. Which this film, because the way Matt Walsh, who is the man who takes you through this journey, as he says he's on in this film. Uh, every time I've seen him in a video on YouTube or anything, he's got this very even tone, monotone. That I never hear him go up or down or really belt out laugh or get angry. He's just so even tempered. It's kind of a monotonous tone. I'm not saying that to make fun of him. It's just him. He's even that way in the movie, and so I'm like, and I knew that going in, he's going to be his normal cadence, which he better have something interesting to talk about. Otherwise, it's like I can't do this. Which, incidentally, that's what somebody says in the film. I kid you not. At the end of the film, when spoiler alert, I'm going to go and talk about spoilers, since hopefully probably nobody's going to watch a review about this particular movie unless you've already watched it and you enjoyed it and you wanted to support it. You've already seen it, so I'll just assume that. And spoilers, I'm going to be talking all about the movie as much as I feel like it. So here goes. At the end of that film, where he's essentially doing the same thing as the wokey um, lady toward the middle of the, well, really, it's one of the first focus group whatever's that he's in with. It's the time when he goes into the cry room, and they actually get to talking to each other. They Google stuff, and they realize who he is. He's Matt Walsh. He's not Steven, because he actually forgot his name when he went back in, because his undercover name. And so, yeah, there is that. And I can't really say I approve of that kind of thing. It's really the only thing that was a mark against him in the movie, when the lady could had him dead to rights. Well, if you really were honest and above board, however she said it, you would have told us who you are. I gotta ask you to leave. And I was just thinking, just for that one instance, well, she's just telling you the truth, guy. Where are you? What are you up to? What are you doing there, Matt Walsh? And he tried to make it funny, and some of it was very humorous, but it wasn't that funny as far as his put on crying like he's guilty about being white or whatever in this movie. Like I said, I wouldn't have seen this film if not for my Aunt Marianne. And what I want to try and do just to before I actually get into the whatever meat of this film that I can glean from it, I want to go ahead and share something with you on the screen here. If I can successfully share this image, and I sure hope that my audio is being recorded over this. Let me go to where this image is and start. Where am I? There we go. I want to just start right now and just spend a couple minutes talking about why, or a little bit more about why this was actually an enjoyable theater going experience. There were these two guys who came in about 10, maybe 15 minutes. I don't know that they missed that much of the movie. They were in it in the theater for at least 3/4 of the movie. And they changed seats. They were in the center, then they moved to be closer. And I was getting kind of fed up with them, hoping, these guys, they're either adolescents or they better not be 20 years old. And I realized they were swinging something around. I said, oh my goodness, they've got samurai swords. Those swords better be plastic, guys, because they were becoming a distraction. When I saw that hat that the guy on the right had on, less so the guy on the left, but when I realized that, what are you doing here? Are you a troll? Are you trying to troll this movie? Because as we were driving home, I told my Aunt Marianne and reminded my mother of something, a theater experience from many moons ago, how she and I, that's me and my mom, had gone to see an American Carol. This thing that it was supposedly Michael Moore's brother, who's not all out liberal whack job like Michael Moore is, leftist. He's more a little bit saner. It was supposed to be his brother. I don't even know if that was true or not. I think it is. You know what? I'm going to Google that while I'm thinking about this. And well, actually, I guess I can't turn away. Whatever. I don't know if it's his brother or not, but he made this movie, An American Carol. And long story short, it's a crazy little movie about Americana and support the troops and be patriotic. And it's a knock against Michael Moore since it's supposed to be his brother. Bill O'Reilly's in it, John Voight, David Alan Grier, and just different people. Somebody else in there, Kelsey Grammer, somebody I can't remember. Anyway, some of it was funny, some of it was just kind of obnoxious and over the top, but it was just supposed to be a fun movie, a little bit crass, I guess, in some aspects of it, but whatever. This is the memory that I have from it. There were 2 or 3 people, liberals, I guess, they were protesting the movie, saying this is conservative propaganda, this is a hateful movie, whatever. I don't know what they were saying. I just remember they were there protesting the movie. They had their sign up on the corner at the AMC in Mobile, Alabama, and they were just doing their thing, protesting. I thought, well, good for you. You do you, guy. And I thought, back to that memory when I saw these 2 guys, I thought, are these a couple of troublemakers who don't want anybody to enjoy this film? Because for whatever reason, Am I Racist is only showing once per day. There was only just one 11 a.m. showing at the AMC in Mobile. I guess I didn't think there would be any more than that. And really, I guess there's something to that because at least on a Monday, it was just me, my mother, my Aunt Marianne, 2 young women, maybe in their 30s or 40s came in. And these 2 guys up front. And Mom thinks she knows what's up. She says, oh, I heard a lot of young men are enjoying this movie. I'm like, I didn't really even say anything because I don't know if there's anything to that or not. All I know is these 2 guys were kind of a cut up. They were waving their samurai swords so high that they were covering the screen a couple times from the bottom, just a little bit. And I'm like, dude, it's a distraction. We all paid to see this movie, and you guys are kind of being a distraction. But anyways, they melted my Aunt Marianne's heart. She didn't realize I got a photo of them as we went out because they were just chilling and they were being cheerleaders for the movie, basically. And I didn't get their names. I just saw them kind of standing there, and my Aunt Marianne had been talking with them for a second. As there was an after credit scene, you can see here, Matt Walsh. I took a picture of it. Don't tell anybody, I might get arrested. Mom's kind of leaning over the big wall slash railway. She's at the very bottom of it from where we go down the steps, just opposite of where she is right there. And we're trying to get the last little joke in this movie. And all it is when Matt Walsh was first going to go in and try and get some good anti-racist reading material written by these leftist freakazoids. And he finds this book, and this lady's just spouting the pablum. She knows this uh, white fragility whatnot to a T. She's just telling him all about it, telling him all these books, and oh look, all this entire shelf was written by diverse, and he has to go into that. What is diverse? Well, it's basically anybody who's not white. He picks up a he picks up a book, and the title of it is the N word, Nigger, and he can't say it. He's like, am I allowed to say this word? And she literally is like, well, I mean, I guess I wouldn't say it. She's trying to sell him books, right? But she's saying he can't say the title of the book. I kid you not. And the very last scene of the movie, after some of the credits have rolled, is him calling the bookstore and seeing if they have a copy of the book. And he goes, this lasts for like a minute. I'm like, I'm ready to get in the car and roll, man. Come on, get to it. But it's so drug out. But in a way, I guess it just runs home the point that Matt Walsh is making in this movie and how utterly ridiculous the whole thing is. Even when he called her up and he's got her on speakerphone there, she can't tell him the title of the book after he's very subtly and cleverly explained what the book is that he's looking for. Well, actually, it rhymes with triggered now that I think about it. All the stuff that he said. And anyway, she still didn't say the name of the book, but that she did have a copy of it. I kid you not. And there's the titles. I took a quick picture. And my Aunt Marianne, there's the AMC. And when we got there, I'm like, oh no. Is the place closed? Because there was almost nobody there. And that kind of threw me when I saw a trailer being pulled by this truck. But no, it was just the early showings. I remember when there were showings of things for 10:30 in the past, but I don't know. It was just kind of odd that there were only 2 or 3 vehicles, maybe 4 or 5 when we got there. And I thought, is this place closed? I understand that a bit of the Southeast, I barely made it out of it myself. Hurricane or Tropical Storm Helen messed up a whole bunch of people recently. I thought, is Mobile somehow bombed out too? What's going on here? But no, it was just early showing. And that's why nobody was there. But I'm glad I took those photos because those 2 guys, young boys, you saw them. They must have been 15, if that. I don't know how old they are, 16. They were kind of endearing to my aunt there at the end, and she's pleased that I texted her the photo that I took of them because they're just there and they're, what is it, Halloween? What's with the samurai swords? I don't get it. I said, may I? He's like, oh, yeah. And they got in there. And the last thing they said as I was walking away, they said, stay away from the wokies. Watch out from the wokies. I kid you not. So, yeah, there is that. But let me look at these little blurbs. Top stories. Is Matt Walsh trying to make Am I Racist the Borat of the right? I don't know if I even get that. I never watched Borat. What Am I Racist misses by the Dispatch? Salone, Am I Racist film exposes the cultural lies, the curious case of Am I Racist and Rotten Tomatoes. Oh, yeah. My mother and aunt were talking about that as we drove to Mobile. Apparently, so many of the critics who may have seen the movie aren't giving their opinions because they're afraid they're going to be in trouble or get in trouble with people who can hurt them professionally, I guess, if they give their thoughts on this movie. Just looking at some of the top casts here, I want to try and point out a couple of these people. The thing that sold me, really, apart from wanting to just hang out with my aunt for just a minute, was when I realized that this woman, the woman herself, Angelou, what is her name again? I'm looking for her now. Sarah Rao. She is there with Regina Jackson. I've never heard of these people, but they came off as very hateful in the movie, and it's one of the several things that I'm looking at the movie, and I don't know if this is just one big setup or not. It's like, how did you get these cameras in here, man? It so much of it seems like a put on, and yet he made it humorous. He really did. Robin DiAngelo self. Why don't they have a photo of her? Well, let me copy and paste her name to get an actual photo of her here on Google as I'm looking at this. They manage to get her, and this really was maybe the most profound thing. Well, there were two or three profound things in the film, and as much as it's the logical conclusion that you arrive at if you go down the rabbit hole, the black hole, whatever you want to think of it as, of the anti-whiteness and everything is racist mentality. Um, this is the ending of the movie when uh, he has his buddy. He doesn't look that black to me, but he's black, and what was his name? I can't remember what his name is, but he was part of he was in on it basically. And one funny thing about the movie is they have this little dollar sign readout that is like cha-ching. It's in green with white letters. It's got this dollar amount that comes up on the screen ever so often because he's making the point. And this, you know what? The more I think about it, it is a good thing. It's a clever thing that you know what? If I share this screen, you'll actually be able to see a little bit of the movie. This is IMDb, so it should be fine to share this. Let me share this so you can actually see a little bit of the film as I'm talking here. Yeah. There's Matt asking himself in the mirror, am I racist? I've got to get to the bottom of this. I'm on a journey. And he actually does have a couple of funny poses. I forget that lady's name, but oh yeah, she's a walking textbook of the whole thing. Oh great, when he's talking with those people in the bar, they are all just like down to earth people, not nowhere near even really contemplating or thinking about what he's on his journey about. They're like, just love people, just get along with people. All these white people, tattooed people, people you can barely understand because their accent is so localized. That guy, it was funny. They actually put subtitles on the screen so you could understand what this gentleman was saying. The biker's like, I don't care who you are. If you just want to get along with me, whether you're black, white, it don't matter. I'll have a beer with you. We'll go for a ride together. Why even think about it? And the one guy on the street he met, this young guy, because there's the guy right there who he you can barely understand what this man is saying. Yeah, clunk, his bike he rode in on fell. He goes in there, scratch. There's the guy right there. And the candid camera part, the practical joke part of it really comes across when the movie starts out with him actually supposedly, I don't know if this actually happened or not, but on an actual local news, like a regional or local news station, like a Sunday morning show or a morning show, and the announcers like, oh, we have Mr. So and so from the whatever, and sure enough, Walsh has actually got his. I'm actually DEI certified. He's got a little. He's a literally a card carrying member of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And when the guy he interviews, and he's sitting down with him, um, is talking with him. He wrote a book about hate crime hoaxes, and there's Walsh like, oh well, you know what? I think I might have gotten this wrong in my notes. He thought he was just going to talk about hate crime, not hate crime um, hoaxes, because sure enough, Walsh gets into the Jesse Smollett thing and all the nooses and all the stuff. Bubba, I almost said Bubba Gump. Bubba Wallace, the NASCAR thing, all of the microaggressions, whatnot. Oh yeah, there's the part of the movie right there where this lady finds him out and she sends him packing when they realize he's not who he says he is. And leave it to my very observant mother. She said, I noticed a part of the film. He looked like he had a rash on his face. I didn't even notice it at all. I guess I spaced out. But I said, it's probably from wearing that fake beard. Yeah. This movie's kind of it is a little bit of fun, I'll admit it, but it's just such a slow burn thing. It's just not the kind of thing I would normally go to the movies for. Man, these people are so hateful. That woman, she just goes down the rabbit hole all the way until she finally says, "This country is shit. This country is not worth saving." And that's when Walsh accidentally starts dropping the glasses, the plates. He's laughing and chuckling to himself. Oh yeah, that part of the movie right there. That is when he is basically doing what the same thing the woman in the beginning is doing, getting white people to understand how racist they are and how their microaggressions are offending people and destroying the country, and how cruel they are to black people and how they need to change their ways and make restitution and all this stuff. That one young girl, I don't even care to talk about her. She went on about how you're like the Nazis. You've compartmentalized this stuff. They did awful things, but they were able to do a mental trick where they learned to live with themselves. And my mom got really irate about that one on the ride home. It's like, but they had actually done horrible things, and then they compartmentalized and rationalized their evil. What are you talking about, young woman with the tattoos and stuff? Oh, but this part here, when Maya Angelou, what is her name again? Robin DiAngelo, who wrote the book on white fragility or whatever, she comes across, I kid you not, these people are like sociopaths with the things that they're talking about. But when he's sitting down with her, she seems like the most level-headed and calm and friendly of all the interviews that he has in the whole movie. I kid you not. Even though she's talking about things that are crazy, her demeanor came off very well, in my opinion, like well adjusted to all of her nonsense. Well, he does this thing that is so clever. I give Walsh credit for that. He brings over his black assistant, the cameraman. I can't remember his name. I want to call him Steve, but that's what Walsh was calling himself when he was going undercover. So he does this thing where he's like, you know what? I want to make restitution right now. And he is I want to get his name. I can't believe I can't remember his name. Anyway, he the guy's funny because he does this thing where he offers him some money. He's like, this is all that I have on me right now. This is all that I can do, and I want to do it right now. And it's very, very good, because what happens is he then looks over at DiAngelo and he asks, would you also like to do something to make things right by my black my black friend? It's so ridiculous and it's so funny. And his buddy is over there saying, well, because he had asked him, would you accept this from me? Would you accept this? And the guy's looking at him like, well, I mean, I can never say no to cash. And you're just there chuckling with yourself, because he actually is able to guilt DiAngelo into giving, I think, like $3. And I kid you not, for like half a second, the little money reader thing comes on the screen, and all the money that it cost, because this is part of the point Walsh is making. All these interviews, this is one big racket. All these women, look at this scene right here. You can see it. All these women paid to sit with these two lunatics and hear about how horrible America is and how racist white people are. And there's Walsh kicking the plates. This is, it's actually funny. It's actually funny. It actually is. And that guy right there, the black guy in the garage door, is probably the most level-headed in the whole movie. Hopefully, I don't get in trouble for this because I mean it's on IMDb, and it's what's shown for free here, and I'm just talking over it. Um, they pay money for this. They're charging money to give these speeches and stuff. And at the end of the film, Walsh does the same thing as the first woman who did that at the beginning. He's giving a workshop himself called Do the Work. You've got to undo your white colonialization brain. You've got to understand what your microaggressions do to people of God. There he is, the guy holding the sign. I forget his name, but he's the assistant. And when he says, well, I could never say no to some cash. There's D'Angelo. There's the great part at the end where she actually realizes, well, I just don't see the logic in what you do. I mean, because he has her cornered so cleverly as far as, well, I'm not waiting for the system. I'm making things right as an individual right now. And when he says like something like, don't you want to do that? And he's not even pushing her. He's just being the same. I give it to Walsh on this, and I can't believe I'm saying this because I don't really like the Daily Wire. But this was clever. He guilts her into doing this. She gives the guy $30, and when the money reader comes on the screen, all this money that it costs even to sit down with her, because she charges for her interview too, it was however many thousands of dollars. Well, it went down $30 as far as how much the movie cost, because they just got back $30 when she gave his assistant $30. I kid you not. They got back some of their money. They guilted it out of him. And I haven't confirmed this, but my mom said that these different people, D'Angelo, these leftists, they've actually shut down their websites following the release of this movie. Again, I haven't confirmed that, but it's just hilarious. That is hilarious. I would say give this movie a watch because I'm not doing justice to the different interviews Walsh did. At the end, this is my favorite part. These were supposedly real people. He said, I have the ultimate way of getting white people to come to me into this workshop and tell me what's going on with them, and I'm going to teach them. I'm going to teach them right. They're going to learn how to do the work of dealing away their whiteness. And so he's got his clever little setup with his clever little props, and then there's a guy. They're right there. That's the end of the movie. These people are getting fed up one at a time. And that guy who was bald and let the air out, like, this is kind of weird. I don't want to be here. It was a colorful bunch up in that his focus group at the end that he was trying to teach how to not be white people, I guess. This was my favorite part of the movie when he's gotten people to really open up to him about any possible racist incident in their life where they thought wrong or did wrong. And oh yeah, right there, when he has these two women on the program stretching, it's like you're stretching away your whiteness, and he's like doing these breathing exercises. When they raise their arms, he looks at the lady who looks like she's either Hispanic, Asian, I'm not sure. He says, oh no, this is less for you and more for her. Like the white woman is the one who needs to do these exercises because she's white and therefore evil, you know. Yeah, that ending with D'Angelo was good because when he gets her to he guilts her into giving some of her money to this man who is of color and who is therefore a victim of her in some kind of way, somehow, some way, because of because of what D'Angelo preaches. It can't help but be so. It was a great part of the movie, but I keep getting sidetracked. I want to say my favorite part of the movie was this focus group thing at the end when he's actually getting people to open up. And then he actually has these whips that he has and paddles. Like I think his slideshow actually says we're moving on to the self-flagellation stage. Like it's time for you to beat yourself. It's time for you to punish yourself for being a white racist person. And a couple of the people are actually taking the things out, but before the box that Matt is passing these whips out and junk gets all the way to the back, this guy gets up and he says, sorry man, I'm out. I tried. I tried, man, but I'm out. And the uh, camera crew is kind of walking them out, like videotaping them from behind as they walk out, and you're just laughing and chuckling at this guy because like you're with him. It's like, man, I tried. I'm not about to whip myself over this weird stuff you're preaching up there, and I'm just laughing because it was funny. And Matt Walsh uses it as like this epiphany move in the film where he's like, wait a minute, what's going on here? What have I done? He's like, why aren't these people willing to punish themselves? And why are these people willing to whip themselves? The P's looking around the room. There's some people already holding whips. I guess they need the $50 or whatever the Craigslist ad said he was going to pay them. I don't even know. But he's like, this is all wrong. And he actually like comes clean a little bit and with this crew of people. And he says, look, it's over. I've made a mistake here. I've gone too far. This is all just like a scam. This is all just a money-making racket. And go home. And everybody's awkwardly looking at each other like, really, guy? It's like, yes, it's over. It's over. The class is over. You've graduated. Go home. It was so weird. But it's I didn't realize his Uncle Frank that's an inside joke, I guess, was even a thing. But he's talking to this guy at the end in that same cafe where he had the lady pouring him coffee, and she asked him, "How do you like it? How do you take it?" And he wants to say black so much, but he's looking up at her, and she's black, and he's like, he turned that into a funny in the movie. He's like, what? Black? He can't even say it. Anyways, I've rambled on enough about this movie. I've told all the high points. It's making a little bit of money. It's getting around. It's been out for a minute, I think. It's just like I said, I enjoyed it, but mainly because I was with family who wanted to see it. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have gone. It's the kind of thing that looks like it really does need to be on like behind a paywall on the Daily Wire website or something. But as far as the movie that I saw, it was pretty good, and I'd say it's worth a watch. Anyways, let me go back to the big hat. I can't keep up. I can't do this forever. What more can I say about it? What more can I say about this movie? I don't know. I don't know. I've been going on for half an hour about am I racist? Whoops. PG-13. I never would have imagined it would be rated anything more than G. Well, they did blurt out a few bad words because, especially when they're reenacting the Jussie Smollett "This Is MAGA Country" spoof, where supposedly a couple of guys put a noose on Jussie Smollett and we're gonna take his Subway sandwich from him. It was fun. It was fun. I'd like to think that it's great material when you really get into it the way that they did. All these different stories. It could have been a really hilarious comedy, but it wanted to be more thinking, and that's what Walsh did, a more of a thinking piece, and that's what Walsh actually did a decent job of with his even keel monotone voice all the way through to the end of the film. So yeah, there you have it. Very worth a watch, I'd say. And with that, I've got to stop talking. Thank you so much for listening to me give my impressions, thoughts about Am I Racist? So there you go, folks. Thanks for listening to me. Take care. Until next time.